Is this working? Is this thing on or not? We're not. We're not. We're not. Is this working? Is this? It is. Okay. I just rolled out of bed, ate some food. Now we're gonna chill for a bit and yap away. Oh. Ding, ding, ding. Cool. What should we call this? What should we call this? Saturday, right? Nice and simple. Boom. Don't gotta think about it too much. Also, we got a little clip prepared today, right? We took some time this morning to find the clip. Right? What did we say? As per usual? As per fucking usual? Probably gonna be the best bet though. Because by the time that we do this, the VWAP will be coming in here too, right? At that point, it's like the failed auction setting up at the yellow line at the golden pocket with the VWAP coming in. Plus, like wherever like the TPO values are for like the session at that point. Probably gonna be the best bet. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Because it looks like I played out exactly like we talked about the me. So if you take that short, shout to you. Got that TP hit on the short. Where is that thing? I need to log out to the exchange on here. Also, good decision to shave from the long last night, right? So we did end up getting stopped on the remainder of that thing. Just go find that thing. This is the rest of the short right now. Boom, boom, boom. And I have another TP down here at the 886, where we talked about like, the liquidity being. Now we'll kind of just let the rest hang out. We don't want to be too bothered with trading on the weekend. I did not take the long here. Like we were talking about potentially like bouncing in this zone. First of all, like, I just woke up, so I wasn't even looking at the chart anyways. But yeah, let's like caught up on some data, see what's going on. How's the lower time frame looking down there? Hmm. We'll look at some data first. Also, Hype had a pretty similar setup. Having a pretty juicy short on Hype as well, right? Just like a failed auction, top of the volume node into like the VWAP retest. I'd imagine a lot of coins had a pretty similar setup, right? So not gonna be a particularly long stream. I'm gonna go to the gym at like 2:30-ish. Maybe 3, maybe at 2. Just kind of want to sit here because I have to update my nodes. I have so many nodes I haven't categorized. Just all in one big brain dump in a file. So I need to like go through them and clean them up. Make them easier to reference in the future. Let's look at some of this data.
Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan.
Charting a man Dan. That was loud as hell. I like watching this guy's videos. Charting a man Dan from the Chart Guys. Very straightforward, simple way of trading. Quite the fan, if I do say so myself. Oh. Oh shit. My neck is hurting. I can't tell if it's from the gym or if I sleep awkwardly or what. Yeah, I need to do this too. Should we leave an alarm for the gym plus some other stuff? So I don't think we're going to be getting in any trades today, to be quite honest. I mean, maybe we look through some of these alts. Because unless we come down to like grab this shit, or we're like, I don't know. Only long I'd be entertaining is if like we would flip the view up and flip the zone again. And I don't know if we're gonna have enough volume to even get this kind of move today. Or we come like down here for like the juice block from yesterday. But now I think about it, if I'd been awake. Probably would have added to the shore here, depending on how some stuff was looking. Speaking of which, never I checked the rest of the data. Speaking of which. The rest of the dates, dun, 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 dun. Hmm. I suspect we're not going to be missing a whole lot, right? I'd take a wild guess here. I can't imagine a whole lot changed. Five, six, seven. Bum, 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 bum. More curious what the low time frame CBDs are looking like as we like retest this zone. Are motherfuckers buying here or what? Or what? Or what? Interesting. Interesting activity on BitMEX. Oh, that's odd. Everything else relatively dead. Boom, 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 boom. Anyways. curious if these alarms even go off the stream. But we'll leave them. We'll leave them. We'll get to the nerd out now. Time to nerd out. Bye-bye. Boom, boom. Shout to the math. Shout out to the motherfucking math. So I forgot where I got into this note last time. Probably should have marked that out. Anyways. Hey Marcos, it's Dan. What's up, man? What are you waiting for? Trading on a weekend? Expecting weekend pump or dump? Hope all's been well. Not too much, my friend. How are you? Um, Honestly, not much. Not much. I'm in a short. I'm in a short from up here, right? Pixel perfect juice. I'm in this thing right now. Where is it? Just go find it. And in terms of a long, like I wasn't one from yesterday, but like this move down, stop with the remainder of it. Uh, and I don't think I'm gonna be getting to another one until we get down here. Probably. I gotten this thing at, where is it? At 106. Wait, why did it change? Well, I got paid funding, right? Yeah. Whoever gotten this thing yesterday. And along, I don't know. I was considering getting in one here, but like, I just woke up, and also like not looking too hot in terms of the data. Expecting a weekend pumping or dump though. Hard to say, right? Usually on the weekends nothing really goes on. It's like really not a whole lot of volume. So not a whole lot going on. There's a big liquidity cluster down here to grab. We'll see if we make it there. Nice call on the short. It's usually how it goes, right? Usually how things are going. On the what'd you say, on the bus? I'm on my way back from my grandma by bus. You're not in Canada, right? I think last I heard you're like in. I mean, I see you obviously like on Instagram. You're like in the Czech Republic or whatever it is. But maybe perhaps you're back in Canada. Probably see me gap to the upside at 104k. Oh, you mean like the one that will be leaving for the weekend? Yeah, probably. That's the other thing, right? The most probabilistic, we are just gonna kind of mean revert back upwards towards the gap by tomorrow. Plus, like on the lower time frames, there's a bunch of like CBD like bull dips printing here, so people are obviously like trying to buy this. Just not enough like edge for me to be taking this. Like I don't. No need to like force like a mediocre trade. Maybe if we start to like flip the VWAP, I'll like make like a small position. But move to Europe, still in Czech Republic. Yeah, I saw. I see you there, and I see you talking about all the taxes and whatnot there. Man, honestly, you're one of the funniest people on Instagram. It's one of my favorite things to see on there. Where I'm at these days, still in Ottawa. Yeah, well, it depends. Usually I'm in Toronto, cause I quit my job, right? I just trade now, so like, I don't. Like I used to work for like a tech company here, but like, I'm no longer tied to Ottawa, so I spend a lot more time in Toronto these days because my family's there, all my friends are there, and the people that I did know in Ottawa from like when we were in university, they all moved, right? Like there's like very few people left in Ottawa, so it's not exactly the most lively. The problem is I have a house here, like the house I'm in, like I own this house, so yeah. But I do like being here in the sense it's like very productive. Like I got a lot of work done. They're streaming every day, like nerding out, reading, blah blah blah. But I do want to move though. What's it called? Because the taxes are so high here, right? Taxes for trading. Like I get taxed more than 50% of my gains. Like, I'm in the highest tax bracket, which is like, insane, right? If I were to move to like where you are, I think I saw you post once that it was 10% taxes there. If I go to Dubai, it's like zero, etc. So very large difference. I'm always shit posting. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Plus, the other thing about what you post is like, I mean, man, I guess you haven't. I don't know how recently you've been in Canada, but it's like very left leaning here, man. It's like very left leaning. It's just weird. It's so weird. People are like brainwashed. Like not that you can have like a be on the left or right, right? It's like normal to have people on both sides, but like it feels like the far left is out of control here. Holy shit, you said you're funded too? No, I trade my own money, I'm not funded. There's no point, right? If you have your own capital, like, just being funded, you're just giving back, you're giving them part of your gains, right? It's like, I'm paying them to do their test, and then they take 10% of my gains. Like, the fuck? I'm not doing that. But yeah, if you like don't have money and you want to be able to like trade with lot size, then yeah, it's definitely recommend people use prop firms. Fun fact, the apartment I'm renting is owned by FTMO, if you know them. Crazy coincidence. Yeah, I've seen it. It's the what's his face? I forgot the guy's name, but he's some like Scandinavian dude with like slicked back blonde hair, right? I believe. Cause I've seen like, a lot of interviews with him discussing trading. Canada went way left. My mom's a lefty, and even she's like, "This is too much." Yeah, I mean, I don't really care per se. Like, whatever. To me, it's like, as long as it's not really impacting me, it doesn't really bother me. Which is probably not the best mindset, because if everybody thinks that way, then things spiral out of control. But it's more so for dating, especially in Ottawa, because I'm single right now. And in Ottawa, it's like every girl that you talk to is like this, right? And like, if you even like show any kind of dissent towards their like idea of like politics, like, they don't even want to have a conversation with you. And like I wouldn't say I'm like a right leaning person or left. To me, it's the way I look at things is like each topic is discussed in its own merit with its own data points, and then you kind of reset to the next topic. Like it's not like some like fucking sports team where it's like left only or nothing. How'd you handle October 10th liquidation? Some people got smoked, man. I don't think it was a big deal. I was prepared for it, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I have a Discord like in the description. But like, I've been talking about this. Like I mean, I don't know how much you know about like trade setups. But like, this is the value area, right? And this thing is like a pretty common trade setup on a high time frame up here. It's like a failed auction at the value area high. So yeah, I was shorting into it. I shorted this whole thing down. And I'd been talking about this here, right? This 107k liquidity grab. This was in the scope for a long time. And not only that, but like if anyone was tracking the open interest up here the days beforehand, it was on Wednesday. Okay, like if a trade setup is playing out right, you expect to see a rise in shorts or longs taking the trade setup. But on the Wednesday, there was like a multi-month spike in short open interest out of nowhere. Like there's no like trade setup going on here, which is like pretty suspicious, right? And I don't use like a cross margin on my portfolio, so let's just say I wasn't some like crazy longs. The worst case scenario, I would have had those individual trades liquidated with like the isolated margin. Because this always happens. That's the thing, right? Like I'm like a big proponent, like a advocate for like risk management. Because everyone, once or twice a year, something like this always ends up happening, right? And it's always some like higher time frame liquidity grab that got left behind on the higher time frames. And they always come back for you, right? It's very rare they don't come back to get you with that stuff. All it takes is some random event happening in the news that like increases volatility in the market for them to like leverage that to have the volatility needed to come down and get those levels. The same thing every time. So people want to blame like the China stuff or whatever, but in the day, like we're gonna go down there. The same way I'm pretty sure we're not done leaving the zone yet until we get down to 93 or the 96 liquidity. But we'll see. We'll see. And the other thing is I don't own too many shitcoins on spot. So like yeah, a lot of the alts got nuked and haven't recovered yet. But I don't own too many of them. Cause I'm not sure how familiar you are with like the exchanges in Canada, but the way that the laws work here for like Wealthsimple or Coinbase or so on and so forth, they only allow you to buy $30,000 of altcoins a year. Like that's like your max cap per exchange. So most of my money is in Bitcoin. So like yeah, the alt's nuked, but my swap portfolio didn't really take a big hit. How about you? How did you do? I do feel bad though. Like in some sense, like I usually don't have much sympathy for people that like get wrecked with this stuff because to me it's like people that don't know how to trade and don't manage risk, and then sooner or later like they get got, right. It's always how it works. The math gets you over time. But like in this case, like some people like they were managing their risk properly, right, and like their stops never got filled. Super interesting with the short interest. Didn't know that. Yeah, it was super suspicious to me. Like okay, like yeah, I'm sure some people had like taken this kind of like three drives on like the 6 hour that was forming or like even the 4 hour. But it wasn't when it opened. So it was very suspicious to me. And the fact that it was such a high spike, like I think it was like the 3 month high spike in short open interest in that one day. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's weird. That's odd. It was new buy at the time. Look at everything crashing. Like fuck. Yeah, I can imagine. I saw some people taking some pretty massive losses, and people were texting me too. Everyone I know that like knows I trade was like messaging me like, "Oh shit, are you okay? Did your account blow up?" When do you think we grab the 92K liquidity, or is it less about time, just knowing that they're gonna do it? Well, you never know, right? It's all like probabilistic at the end of the day. Like the way I'm looking at this is, hmm. Okay, this level, this 98 level, like I'm sure if you go on Twitter and whatnot and look at the sentiment data for this kind of stuff, everyone was talking about this level, right? It was like the yearly rolling VWAP, the 50 moving average on the weekly, etc., right? So everyone has been watching this level. So like how often in trading is everyone watching the exact same level? Price comes down to it, and then everyone takes the long and just bounces off happily ever after, and we all just sit here, yeah, we're juicing to the heavens. It very rarely plays out like that. So to me, I'm leaning towards this kind of just being some kind of like bear flag forming here, and then we just finish making the move eventually. Especially if like the S&P and Nasdaq are gonna go lower from here still. Or like the other scenario is like we come close out the shorts first because you see that a lot as well, right? Like no free lunches in this game, so there's a lot of people that are in shorts from up here. So like we might come up, grab some of this shit, and then make the move down. Or this is a low, right? Like it wouldn't be the first time we defended the lows in the higher time frame without ever finishing the move. Like we did it way back here, right? And we were at like 70K, like back in when we were down here in the tariff crash. Like there was like a huge liquidity cluster to grab down here, and they defended it, just double bottomed it and just ran off. So there's a world where that's possible too. I'm leaning towards more downside, but at the same time, if we start to like flip this level on the higher time frame and start going, then that's what's happening, right? But yeah, but until I see that happen, like we've come up here and like flip this level and then change structure again and keep going, like I'm not buying it just yet. Either way, I'm prepared, right? I'm prepared for all the situations. That's what it comes down to more than anything. I'm more so curious if the cycle is done or not. Because I started trading after the last bear market. Like I'm relatively new to trading, so there's a lot of things I didn't know back then when I got into it, and it was also a bit late. Like in terms of like looping your Bitcoin on Aave, for example, like, I didn't know that existed. I also wasn't leverage trading at this time. Like I didn't have access to leverage trading until we were like in this point of the cycle when we were like chopping around. So if we are in a bear market or going into one, that's pretty exciting to me because I'm gonna be opening like some pretty massive leverage trades down there wherever we bottom out. On top of like taking advantage of leaps and the whole looping thing. Exciting times ahead. Now, I'm curious. Have you heard, like, what are your thoughts on this quantum computing cracking the old wallets? I can't tell if this is like FUD or what. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I agree. Everyone talking about 100K spooks me. Everyone's saying they'll capitulate under 100K, so I guess we gotta go under 100K. Yeah, that's my experience, at least from like when I've been trading since I've started. Cause like I track like the sentiment data, and also like what the keywords are coming up a lot. And in my experience, like it's always one of two scenarios happens. Like if everyone's talking about a level like too much, like either the level gets like front run and we just go from there, or the level gets like blown through. It was the same thing that happened down here. Like down here, everyone was talking about like 72 and like 70, and she ended up front running it. You see it a lot. You see it all pretty often. Interesting thing though that Bitcoin has bottomed the first 10 days of basically every month in July 2024. So if we're gonna sweep the lows, it's gotta happen soon. Yeah, I think for what was the stat? In green Novembers, the bottom is usually put in on the 7th of the month, which was yesterday. And if it ends up in on red Novembers, it's the 21st. Plus also like the moons, right? The moons. There is a moon down here for all the moon traders. Can't say I trade the moons, but it is always funny when they work out like that. But I mean, it's interesting, right? The data behind the moon. Here's the thing: people can say what they want about the moons, but like, it is statistically significant. And then not just in crypto, like even in traditional markets. I found it so funny when I first learned about the moons. Like I thought it was the biggest troll at first. I'm like, there's no way. There's no fucking way. And also, there's like special kinds of moons too. Like there's like what's it called, like a beaver moon. So we had a beaver moon this month. The beaver moon is the largest and brightest full moon of the year, and we just had it. I think when you get rich, you just get bored and move markets on moon dates to fuck with everyone. I mean, there's like a lot of weird theories about it, but like none of it has ever really been proven. Like, I mean, I can see a world where it actually is realistic, right? Like the gravity changes a bit and alters, like the water, like balancing your body, etc. Could be just like fake news, but It is interesting. I'll never trade it though blindly. Like that seems a bit nonsensical. Boom, 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 boom. How is life there, anyways? I'm curious. For like an English speaker, or like, do you speak the language they speak there? What do they speak? Czech. Oh, Czech is literally the language. West Slavic. Interesting. You want to do a live stream sometime? We're trying to stay low key. Yeah, we can. I don't mind. It wouldn't be the first time I've like talked to people. I should join your Discord to coordinate the live there if you're down. Yeah, sure. I don't mind. Kind of the whole point of streaming, right? Is so I don't go crazy alone. More than anything, should lose my mind. Like now that I don't work a job, like I'm just at home alone all day, every day. The only time I leave my house is to go to the gym. So I was really paranoid of my ability to speak like really deteriorating, and it's really bad for your mental health. Like it is, trading is pretty hard. A lot of people like, underestimate like how lonely of a job it is. And there's like all kinds of studies in regards to like being isolated as a human, like the probability of being like schizophrenic in the future and having like Alzheimer's and things like that goes like way up. You could get like lost in your own thought essentially. I speak Czech, yeah. I came here almost every summer as a kid, just like a second home. Oh, okay, that's your background. That makes sense. That makes sense. Things have been good, man. Just working like crazy. Yeah, same. But I like it though. Like, I really find like I've always been someone that likes learning new things. So like, I like that the because I don't just trade crypto, right? I mostly trade traditional stocks. So like having to stay informed on what's going on in the world and like also like what new technology is developing, what new medicine is technology developing, whatever like the next AI advancement is, etc. It's pretty cool to be able to like constantly learn about that stuff all the time. So it keeps you busy, to entertain, and definitely get more social. Exact same thing. I work from home. Yeah. Speaking is hard, right? That's the one thing I really like about streaming. Keeps you like honest, on your toes in terms of your speech. I gotta bounce though. Good to see you. I'll message you in Discord. Alright, sounds good. I can see you well. It's been a long time. I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I'm going to touch grass. Yeah, I'm about to leave soon. Probably like an hour and going to the gym. There are people I talk to there, so it's kind of not that bad. Not as bad as I make it seem, right? Especially when I'm in Toronto. When I'm in Toronto, like I see all my friends all the time. It's more so like an Ottawa specific thing. Yeah, shout out to you. Be in touch soon. Hopefully all is well until then. Bum, bum, bum. Take care, man. Max that P&L. Yeah. We'll get there eventually, right? One way or another, we'll make it to our goal. Just a matter of how quickly it happens. So I wouldn't say I'm as risk averse as other people. So they have been growing their accounts faster than me, but at the same time, I never have to worry about ever blowing up or going broke or anything. Each to their own. You too. Hopefully your trading is going well. Hopefully the portfolio is looking good. bum. Meantime, I'm gonna get some more water, go to the bathroom, then get back to it before we have to go. Okay, we're back. Time is it? 107. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, these notes. We gotta finish these notes. You know, I'm curious. I wonder if I take all these notes. Cause I have so many notes on trading. It's fucking crazy. Crazy. Same with Valorant. Funnily, like any game that I've played and nerded out on, I always have like huge, huge Google Docs for each game. I just like write down over time that I've like learned or like need to like do. But I'm curious if I were to take all these notes now and put it into some like a LLM, they could like make a book out of it. That's an interesting thought, right? Actually, I'm curious if we can do that. Yeah, actually, it's very interesting to think about. I'm gonna write that down. I need to figure out a way to feed it into the, like pipeline the data in. Cause this is like way too much to like put in a prompt on just like through ChatGPT. does like connect to the API and do it. I'm also curious like how it would come up in terms of formatting it. Because ideally you want the book to have some kind of like flow, right? Like one thing leads to another. Probably should charge this thing as well. Okay. What is that? Shout out to James. Shout out to Jay gets some money. Okay. Guys, we have to go on a date later. I'm honestly not in the mood. We're supposed to be getting a snowstorm tomorrow where I am. 15 centimeters of snow tomorrow. I'm just trying to sit at home and do nothing, to be honest. To be honest. I love the internet, guys. Okay, let's focus up. Not get our lulls in too much here. Also gotta remember to leave on the data stream before we get off. I'm gonna be a little crack addict later if I don't come back home. I gotta go to the bathroom 1 second. I'm sitting there looking at the charts. But why? But why? If you know, you know. It's a problem with trading, right? Like, you know, a lot of people stress about trading in terms of their P&L. That is not what stresses me about trading. To me, it's just the fact you have to always be paying attention to what's going on. There's no off button on this. Like, honestly, I might go back to trading how I was in the summer. Cause lately, I mean, I don't know. It depends on the conditions too of the market. But lately, we've been like a lot more aggressive in terms of like scalping, adding back, so on and so forth. Whereas in the summer, it was a lot more of like swing trading and like hedging the positions, and then just kind of playing both directions, however it would go. Because stuff like yesterday is just gonna happen more and more often, right? Where I have some like trying to get some like big ass fill, and like there is literally like no more supply coming to hit the order, and it just goes without you. That problem only becomes like worse and worse the bigger the account gets. So we do need to eventually we will be forced to pivot into that. We want to start trading like huge size. Anyways, we'll worry about that when we get there, if we get there. So then we'll keep up nerding out. Speaking of which, where was I? And that book idea is really sticking in my head right now. I'll have to clean up these notes beforehand though, because some of these notes are like gibberish. Like they have like math symbols in them, handwritten drawings, etc. Interesting. Forgot about this. Interesting. And this is why we review our notes, our old notes. These are from like last year probably. This is documental one of called Trading Notes General, and I have 7 documents. Trading Notes General 1, 2 to 7. Goddamn. Goddamn. Boom, 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 boom. Oh man. Oh. Can't wait to the gym leader. Shout out to the math. Any questions or nah? Or nah? Are we all just lurking? Lurking. Lurking, smirking. What time is it? Let's get a 30-minute candle. How's the chart looking? I expected a whole lot of nada going on here. Typical weekend shit. It's okay, that's why we're productive, right? We do other shit. Don't just stare at these charts like an animal, wasting our time. It might even game, right? It might even game. The thing is, I feel so bad now. If I ever play a game, I feel like fucking bad. I get anxiety. Which is crazy, crazy to think that happened. What a weird pivot in life. Professional gamer into getting anxiety playing games. Bum. Actually, I'll set my alarm a little bit earlier if you can do the juice box. Well, I don't think we're going to be having much of a juice box today, right? Nothing's really changed from yesterday. What do you even say yesterday? It was like what 12 hours ago when we last streamed, basically. This note I put. Oh my gosh. Making myself laugh from my own notes a year ago. Oh man. Right to left. Boom, 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 boom. Any questions or not? Or not? While we sit here nerding the fuck out. But what? But what? ERF. What do I think about XRP? Um, I guess it depends what you mean. What do you mean? What do I think? Like long term, like day trading this thing, etc. Like definitely an edge of a cliff, right? I'll say that much. And if we start to like roll over on Bitcoin, like this thing can the waterfall pretty fucking fast. Long term, fundamentally, I don't know. I don't really follow XRP too much. I mean, I have some. I've got a spot bag from like way down here. I mean, they are doing some interesting stuff. We'll say that, right? I don't know if it's gonna become this like a international banking standard everyone thinks it is. But they are starting to get into like the lending world and whatnot, and like they also have a stable coin, right? But wouldn't exactly say I'm like a super informed XRP expert to really give you like an amazing opinion on it. If we're being honest, I'm more so just trade it. Plus, there's something to be said for like the whole mind share of XRP, right? Whatever people may think or not think about it. This thing has been around multiple cycles, has a huge army, right? The XRP army. Free advertising. People shilling your bags on your behalf. A lot of interesting interviews on the Paul Barron Network YouTube channel, though, if you want to go watch them. Like, I haven't checked anything out recently, but a lot of the people that actually work at XRP do interviews on there, right? And they kind of talk about what they're currently developing, what they're thinking, kind of deals they might be trying to work on, etc. But like I mean, the way I look at it, everything depends on Bitcoin, right? Quite unlikely that Bitcoin is. Let's suppose we're entering some like prolonged downtrend into like a bear market. I don't think XRP is gonna be pumping to the heavens, right? Or any other crypto really. So that's why we trade this first and foremost. But yeah, the whole idea of like having collateral through XRP seems pretty interesting, right? Like a lot of real world use cases with that, which can't be said for a lot of these shit coins. I wouldn't even say XRP is like a shit coin. But like, you know what I mean though, like a 200th market cap, whatever it may be. Just go find an example of one. Boom, boom, boom. Like Gala, for example, right? Who remembers Gala? Boom, boom, boom. Just doesn't change a lot actually. Wow, I haven't looked at the market cap for these things in a while. Been quite the shakeup. Interesting. Anyways. Shout out to the XRP army though. You people are crazy. You say one bad thing about XRP like on Twitter, you're getting your ass cooked. Cooked alive. No, one thing I will say about that coin though, especially as well, is like the actual the amount of dumping that they do onto the free market's pretty crazy, right? It has its pros and its cons. Like, obviously, they're diluting it, but from what I can tell, it seems like that money is being used for useful things. Like they're not just cashing out to go buy fucking Lambos. Continually building out their product. Boom, 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 boom. that. We're actually making our way up to the VWAP. Interesting. Guess we've broken this trend too. Interesting. It looks like those low time frame CVD divs are playing out. We passed up on it, but is what it is. The question is for the short, because right now the entry is like here and the stop is here. And we have shaped a good amount. I was thinking if I want to close the rest earlier before we, like, in the world where we start to come all the way back up. Like flip the VWAP, flip the golden pocket and go. Probably not though, probably not. If I had not shaved nearly as much, like, this would definitely be in the cards, closing it earlier. Like if we come up here and start to like change structure again. But given that we have shaved so much, what, it's already like over 60% closed, right? Yeah. We'll just leave it here, right? For the sake of not having to like be too mindful because of the gym, etc. I don't probably like to entertain the long, perhaps. We'll see how the data's looking, and if we even end up getting this, we might just roll over, right? At the golden pocket. Yeah, we'll keep this potential long in the cards. Although I don't know if I want to be taking it with the lows like that. Hard to say. So usually like on a low volume environment, you're probably going to be paying a bit more attention to like where we're spending time. So if the value area high is right here and the volume's like right here too. There's like a world where it does this, right? We'll see. If this first move up ends up like sweeping some of this garbage, and then we do the retest and then start to go at this level, I'll be like more inclined to be wanting to like smash into the entry. Assuming the rest of the data looks good, right? Order flow looks good and whatnot. Let's put an alarm up here. Until then, I think we're just gonna be chilling like a villain. Oh. And we'll leave the short. If anything, we'll be mindful of adding back to the short, right? Anyway, let's go back to what we were doing. So I need a freaking. My head hurts. Any questions or no? Or no? Or no? Time is at 2:10. Probably gonna start wrapping things up here pretty soon with a juice box. I put an alarm for I think it was 2:20 or maybe 2:25. So we'll kind of do that. Then we'll turn on the data stream and call it a day. Unless like something crazy happens, right? And start getting some crazy volatility later. Maybe we'll be back. I do have plans later on though, so if I do come back, it'd be like way later at night. Probably should make sure we leave some alarms, right? Some other alarms. I mean, we already have this one. We have a shit ton down here. We'll leave those actually. We got all the rest covered. Put a bunch up here. In the world where we're sleeping, right? For whatever reason, if we're sleeping and the price gets up here, down here, we'll kind of leave those in advance. But that way we don't gotta keep our eyes glued on these charts. Let's try and power through these last 10 minutes of notes real quick. Oh man, I forgot about this. Interesting. Bro looks stressed and I don't see movement. Oh, I'm not even looking at the chart. I'm like looking like I'm reviewing old trading notes. And I'm in a short from up here. I'm chilling. I'm big chillin', my friend. Bum bum bum. Yeah, I just have like a shit ton of notes that I've been like putting into some massive Word doc, and it's like getting a bit too chaotic, so I'm like categorizing them. In terms of the trading, no, we're never stressed, right? We know what we're doing, we know the math. And plus, I've already shaved that short pretty aggressively, so like, even if it does go all the way back and hit the stop, it doesn't even matter. Already made our money. How about you? My question. Wait, if you want, I can just lean back, right? Just fucking. Just throw it back in my chair. It's usually I'm fucking trading, right? People are sitting here fucking stressing out, like fucking 20 caffeines, like snorting Adderall, fucking doing coke. I'm just sitting here fucking cooked, just laughing. I'm a newly profitable trader. Took me a while to learn. Yeah, I can imagine it took a lot of information to take in, right? Especially if you have other priorities, like if you're in school or working some full-time job, etc. That's usually the case, right? It usually takes people a while. That's good though. That's good. Not too many people make it to even being a profitable trader. The next question is, how long can you be profitable for? Like, is it just, taking advantage of a bull market and the bear market comes and you give it all back? Or no, or no. That was amazing though. Curious how you trade. Because there's so many ways to trade, it's crazy, right? It's been 9 months profitable. Got back 7K. Oh shit. I was a market gambler before. Yeah, most people are, right? Most people are. But the other thing about trading that's like pretty difficult for some people to grasp is that Just because you made money in a trade does not mean that was a good trade, and just because you lost money does not mean that was a bad trade, right? So you have to be able to be like self-aware enough of like what's really happening here to understand when you're doing good trades or not. A lot of people struggle with that. That's good though. That's good, right? The fact that you're saying those things. A lot of people aren't able to like say, "Oh yeah, I was a gambler," or "Oh, I'm doing something wrong," which to me is a sign that you're probably better than the average person that comes through here. A lot of times people come into the chat and they're speaking like extremely definitively on everything as if they know exactly what's gonna happen all the time. To me, it's like a telltale sign they don't make any money trading. Dead giveaway. That's pretty quick though. 9 months. Well, I mean, I guess that's like how long you've been profitable. I don't know how long you were trading before that. Definitely a lot quicker than average. Like a lot of people that you read online, they took them like 5+ years to make money trading, if not more. Like I was pretty quick as well. But I like no lifed it. Like I literally just spent like 10 hours a day nerding on trading for like months on end. So like within my first year, I was already making money. Also, like I get extremely mad at losing any amount of money, so like I took all my losses like, extremely seriously off the rip. Like immediately wanted to know, like I was like, what am I doing wrong, right? Like, what did I miss? Blah blah blah. 76% win rate in the past 3 months. The new strat, pretty excited so far. I wouldn't look at just a win rate though, right? Because at the end of the day, the win rates. Like there are amazing traders who have like 20% win rates. So it's kind of like it's like a balance of like the win rate and how much like you're realizing on average. But that is good though. It is good though. Like obviously, if you have 70% sex, I can't even speak. 76% win rate on your strategy, and obviously you have like some edge in terms of whatever you're doing. Starting with a small account, you hold on to bigger losses for way longer. My thing was selling losses. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Starting with a small account, you hold on to bigger losses way longer. Day trading options. I'm not sure exactly like what you mean by that. But like the one thing I'll say based like on that comment is that like yeah, at the end of the day, usually what differentiates profitable traders from non-profitable traders is the risk management, right? Like the main thing is to, like when you do lose, don't lose a lot of money. Cause then like you can have like 3 4 losses in a row, and then the one trade that runs or wins, you make it all back and then some, right? But if you're like taking 5% of your account loss on every single trade, and you don't have like really strong edge, you're gonna blow up your account pretty quick. Yeah, interesting though. I've never really like I'm familiar with options and like I track them for like, traditional markets because like it kind of drives the price movement of the indexes. Like the 0 day to expiry options flow is like really strong nowadays. So I'm tracking like how market makers are hedging the options. But I don't never I traded them. I'm considering it though. I've been looking into it lately. Cause you can make a lot of money, right? The only thing is it's like a bit more difficult in my head at least because like when you're trading just like perpetual futures, like it's like a two dimension problem, right? Just like X and Y. Well, in this case, it'd be just like up or down, right? But when you're trading options, you're adding like a third dimension, the time component. So like not only do you have to be right in terms of the direction, but you also have like a time component of how soon you have to be right. But I've been looking into it though, because a lot of people come in here telling me that I should be trading options, because I'm usually pretty good at identifying movements. So we're definitely giving it some thought. When trades go against me, spray for reversals. Now I just cut my losses and that saved me. Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. That's usually how most people get wrecked. Like they don't like they enter a trade and they don't have like their risk defined, right? Like let's say I'm taking a long like down here. Some people like don't have their plan to have their stop loss like here for example. And then price goes lower and they just let it go lower. And then they'll like even add to it sometimes, which is like fine, but like there are strategies around adding to your trades as they go against you. But if you don't manage risk doing all this stuff, then you just end up taking huge losses. Which sucks, right? But I'm at like me personally, I'm not really not to like emotional of a person. I don't really get too emotional about trading or any of this shit. But it's very common people lose composure trading, right? Like all the psychological issues people experience. Doing trading at behaviors like the ones you just described, like just make it even worse, right? So you take a massive loss, now you're trying to like make it all back on the next trade and you're oversizing again. Then you like take two trades in a row that lose. Now you're like starting to lose your confidence. Blah blah blah. And you're not trusting in your setups anymore. The sooner you get into it, the sooner you get comfortable with it. Yeah. The thing is, I used to play video games professionally, so like the idea of being in like high stress, competitive situations, like I'm already used to it. And plus, I found that a lot more difficult than trading. To be honest, to me, trading's pretty straightforward. If anything, it's less stressful, right? Because trading is like a solo game. When you're playing like a video game or like in a sport, and you like fuck up the game. Like imagine you're like in a soccer game, like and you're like the last penalty kick shooter to tie the game, and you like fucking just whiff and miss the net. You just fucking lost the game for your team, right? Whereas trading, like, you don't have any of that kind of pressure on you. I'm a high tier Overwatch player right now. Oh, nice. Yeah, I used to play Overwatch as well, but I haven't played Overwatch in a really long time. I played You played Black Ops 3. Interesting. You might know me then. I played Ghosts. I went to COD champs in Ghosts. I was on Revenge. My gamer tag was ill skill. But yeah, I played Overwatch as well. I was a Grandmaster, whatever the highest rank was. But it was way back. It was when the game first came out, like the season 1 of the release. I haven't played that game in a really long time now. Shout out to you though, Black Ops 3. At that point, I stopped playing COD. But I'm sure you played with people that I knew, like who played still then. Like Royalty still played. At least from Canada. Like obviously all the American pros are still playing. Boom boom. Yeah, it's all on you. Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's kind of why I love trading, right? To me, trading is like a very It's a wake up call to a lot of people, right? Like there's no hiding from things that you do wrong in this game. Like if you're like impatient, you're getting taxed. If you're emotional, you're getting taxed. If you're a know-it-all, you're getting taxed. So on and so forth, right? And there's no one to blame but yourself. So I really like in that regard. I was a Rise player backup, AR player backup. Swifty was my name. Can't say I'm familiar, but I also like stopped following COD when I stopped playing. I just kind of stopped entirely. It's not like I really kept up with the scene at all. Although I have been watching what's his face. I don't know if you're familiar with Zuma. I mean, you probably were because he was a pretty big name back then. But now he has like the whole podcast, The Flank he does. And I kind of got back into that like somewhat recently. So now I've been like listening to those, kind of just gonna be somewhat in touch with the scene. There's no time though. There's no time to really keep up with that stuff, right? Because like as far as I'm concerned, like this is the game I play now, trading. And like sure, like I make a lot of money trading and then like know a lot, but there's still so much to learn, right? Like almost like an infinite amount of knowledge, and the game changes over time. Both in regards to like the bigger your account gets, the more different your trading has to become, but also just the markets in general change over time. Like the markets 10 years ago were not like how they were now, right? The options flow is very different now from 10 years ago, and who knows 10 years from now with like the AI being added into like algorithms, etc., how it's going to change. It's like a constant learning experience, which I love. I love it personally. Well, shout out to you though. You know what's interesting? I don't know how many traders you follow, but a lot of us that used to play video games professionally have like switched to trading, and a lot of us are like pretty successful traders. Like not just Call of Duty, but like I know a few people from Dota that switched to trading and they're pretty successful. Like League of Legends, Dota players, even Call of Duty, right? Like big timers was trading stocks as well. Same with like Enable. Um, I think it suits us pretty well, right, to gamers, because like, we're already used to being in like the environment where you're iterating on something and improving, right? It's like when the first time you ever play Call of Duty and you like try to challenge like this certain gunfight and the other person's in a head glitch and they gunned your shit. Like okay, next time let me like stun that or let me like shoulder peek it first, and you're learning as you repeat over and over, right? Same thing with trading. So like it's a really good skill set to have transfer over in that regard. Stress management, all that transfers greatly. Yeah, that too. That too. I don't find trading stressful at all. I don't know why people like find it so nerve wracking. Because like 95% of the time you're just waiting. You're just doing nothing, right? Until like price gets to where you're looking to take the trade, you're just sitting there chilling. And man, I don't know how you trade specifically, but like I'm pretty data driven in the moment. So when price gets up here, for example, I'm looking at all the data and like, does it align with me taking a short here or not? If it doesn't, I'm not taking it. And if it does, I'm taking it, right? Nothing to really stress about. Also, good thing that you track your data, right? A lot of people don't track your data. The fact that you're doing that, also another sign that you probably know what's going on. Good traders leave clues, in my mind, just like bad ones do. Also, very fortunate, right? Very, very fortunate. 'Cause, like, I don't know about you, but like I stopped playing COD. Like, we had our COD champs team, and then one of us had to quit. And I never was like a big networking person in COD, so like it was hard for me to get on a team after that. And I love playing video games. I fucking love it. Like I didn't just play Call of Duty, right? I'm from a global elite top 100 rank on ESA for Counter Strike. I was the highest rank in Dota 2. I was a grandmaster in Overwatch. Let's go down the list, right? Every single game with the highest rank you could be. So quitting games like sucked, right? To go work a real job, like whatever. I was a software engineer. I got paid well. It was interesting, but it's not the same as playing games. It's just too fun, right? The competition is too fun. So to be able to stumble across trading by chance, and it turns out to be like a massive video game, it's like a blessing. It's a blessing, right? And it pays the most out of all the jobs by fucking far, not even close. It's an actual blessing. And we've got to start wrapping things up here. They'd have to get up at 2:30 or so. That's why my alarm keeps going off. That trade will print, but the price moves pretty slow. Yeah, I mean it's a weekend, right? It's kind of typical weekend price action. You're not expecting too much volatility. It's a low volume environment. I mean, sometimes in crypto, like you'll see stuff happen because it is the only market trading at these times. So it wouldn't be surprising if we got volatility. Like usually you don't. Usually you don't. Usually it just stays in like a bit of a range. And it says it reverts back to the CME gap, right? Like wherever futures stop trading on CME. So right now futures stop trading up here, which is like basically up there, right? So a lot of times like this it closes Friday afternoon up here or wherever it may close, and then it kind of strays away, and then by Sunday at 6 p.m. it like comes back towards that area. But yeah, this thing is printing so far. Because Arya shaped a lot. I had like a 5 Bitcoin position when I opened it, and there's already like only 1.5 left. The next TP is down here. So if we get there, amazing. If not, so be it. Yeah, like, I don't really like scalp necessarily. Like a lot of the trades I open are a bit higher time frame. It's a lot more reliable, right? Like the amount of data that builds up, and the statistics behind it are more reliable. So like when you're scalping on like the 1 minute, like one large player comes into the market, buys, and price is going up. Another large player comes into the market and sells, price is going down. Especially on weekends where it's even less volume. So like these like larger moves are like more representative of like the entire market, as opposed to like individual entity behavior. Maybe interesting in swing trading then. Well, I do, right? Like, at the end of the day, I am scalping. Like, I am taking entries on like the 1 minute chart and whatnot. But I'm not shaving hype super aggressively though. Like, okay, like I got into the trade here with like my stop pretty tight, right? I guess it's the other way around. But I'm not shaving at like a fixed R, for example. I'm not shaving at like 1.52, or like however people like to do it. Like I'm taking the trade there, and then I have my TP set, and wherever it goes, right? If it ends up like coming all the way down here, then like amazing, right? And this does happen a lot of the times, but other times it doesn't. And I'm also pretty flexible with my positions. So like on this trade, I've already shaved like 60 something percent. But now, like, let's say we come back up here and we start to like have like narratives forming with like the order flow flipping bearish, with like a bunch of like longs opening up here getting trapped. We start to reverse. Then I'll probably add to the short, like add more size back to the trade, flip another leg down. But until any of that stuff happens, like I don't know, right? I can't like predict the future. I just gotta wait to be patient and look at the data as we get around. I do swing trade traditional stocks though, like on the higher time frames, like the Nvidias and like all this stuff, right? Tesla, blah blah blah. I'm sure you're familiar. When it comes to Bitcoin, yeah, I'm just like high leverage trading on the low time frames, scalp type entries, and if they end up being a swing trade, amazing. Also depends on the context. Like let's say, like okay, here for example, like the last really big trade I took was down here, and it was because we were forming this like big range, right? So to me, like if we're getting to the bottom of like a really high time frame range, I'll look to swing to the outside of the range. And in this case, like not only did I get the entry here, but then we had a breakout. So this was a pretty massive trade in the end. Entries are the most important part on any type of trade. I don't know if I'd say that necessarily. I mean, it is important. Don't get me wrong. Like at the end of the day, like, it is step one of the trade. But it is also just step one of the trade, right? You also have to manage the trade. Because like for instance, suppose I took this long down here, and then we're starting to come back into the range, and there's like a bunch of like bearish data coming up. Like, there's reasons that I will be wanting to close the trade. I have to be mindful of that and start to take profit on it, because else I'm just gonna round trip the whole thing. So you have to be like managing the trade as it goes. And like the way that I do a lot of my trades, I'm like taking profit and then adding back to the same trade, depending on how things are looking as we're moving. So it's like pretty like fluid in that regard. But yeah, I agree, right? At the end of the day, like the entry is like the first and foremost thing that needs to be done. First action. Like one thing I've seen a lot though is like, okay, people like get hyper fixated on getting their entries, right? But then they don't have like a plan on how to like take profit effectively. So they'll get like really good entries all the time, but then they end up like round tripping half of them, or they'll like let the trade go against them and then end up closing out for like way less profit than they could have. So it's always good to have some kind of plan for that, like whether you're using like moving averages or fixed targets, or like targeting like liquidity on heat maps, so on and so forth. Lots of ways to do it, right? But the key thing, the main takeaway is like make sure you have a plan. A full plan, entries and exits, with defined risk. Anyways, I hate to cut the conversation short. Normally when people are in the chat yapping, I tend to hang out just cause, right? Not too often people are in the chat. But you have to go though, you have to go. And typically when I end my stream, I kind of do a bit of a juice box as we call it. Kind of trade ideas. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And then head on out of here. But shout out to you, shout out to you. Especially because the fact that you play COD, right? Small world. Small world. Big fan. In terms of this juice box though, nothing's really changed from yesterday. For anyone that's coming to check out on this thing, watching the VOD, I'd probably just suggest go watching yesterday's more than anything. Only thing we'll say for the long is if we flip the zone, flip the VWAP and go. And I talked about this earlier. I think it was like at 2 o'clock on the stream time. So if you want like more context as to like what's potentially going on here, just go back to that. We'll just say like flipping like the daily VWAP slash 1025 point or 102.5k. And also like there's some confluence with us reverting to the CME gap with this. And other than that, nothing has changed, right? Set the stop loss at the top of that big red for my short. For my short. Probably not. Probably not. I'll consider it. If I hadn't shaved already on this thing, like I've already had 2 TPs hit on this thing. If I hadn't, then yeah, I'd be much more mindful of being aggressive with my risk management, because it is quite likely we will kind of start to trend back upwards here. Especially the fact that we're holding this area, which, I mean, I'm not going to give the context of it now, but we did talk about that yesterday when doing this. But given the fact that like I've already shaved so aggressively on it, and it's a weekend, like I want to go do other shit. I don't want to be babysitting the chart to get back into another short potentially if we do start to head lower without reaching here. I'd rather just leave it open, right? Plus, I'm getting paid for it. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with crypto trading, but right now, like the long short ratio is imbalanced towards the longs. So anyone that has a short open is getting paid to keep that position open. So yeah, no real need to be too aggressive with the stop loss on this thing, given the fact that I've taken so much profit on it. What's my take on ICT concepts? I'm not sure. I've never really watched that guy's videos. From my understanding, is he just like kind of rebranded old concepts with his own terminology. But like a fair value gap, for example, is just like a single print on a TPO, right? It's like one of these. Or you can call it, if you use order flow candles, it would be like a buy sell imbalance in the candle, right? But I'm not too familiar with what all the concepts are, right? Because I've never watched his videos, so I don't know what's like a inverse fair value gap or whatever you guys say is. But I will say this, right? Regardless of what you think of it, at the end of the day, it's a system to follow, right? It's just a systematic system to follow. And so if you can make it work, then shout out to you, right? Use ICT concepts. If not, then it doesn't matter. The whole point of trading is that you have some kind of system where you have a set amount of decisions, right? So like you start with like the trade entry, or like not the trade entry, we'll say like you're looking for something to consider taking the trade, right? And then you're making decisions based off like, have you seen this thing or not? And if you have seen this, then you go down this path and make your next decision, and so on and so forth. So if you're basing this logic tree around ICT concepts, it's perfectly fine, right? The whole point is that you have some repeatable tree that produces consistent results when you execute this tree. Personally, I don't trade ICT concepts, but there are people that have done it successfully, right? Like documented, verified traders that do it and swear by it. But thank you for sharing your thoughts. You're actually very kind towards all types of traders. Well, there's so many ways to trade, right? So people don't realize. Like there are people that trade without even using charts. They're just trading a spreadsheet of like data and collecting stats on that and seeing how far it's deviating away. Like there's no right or wrong per se, as long as it produces a system that makes money. It doesn't really matter what you do. People that trade the moons, right? The moon, the lunar calendar. But in terms of the rest of this juice box, where were we? Yeah, nothing on the higher time frames have changed from previous juice boxes, plus the Discord discussions. We haven't been posting Discord in a while because we have been streaming again. The only reason we weren't or were posting here is because I wasn't streaming. But these like higher time frame levels, like up here and way down here, like have been discussed in there. And for the shorts, I don't know if we're gonna get another good short opportunity on the weekend. Cause like it was this, right, with the stuff that we were talking about. Like either you took the one I took, or you took like the failed auction that we talked about in yesterday's juice box. So it was like one of these two, right? Now that both have passed, I wouldn't be too keen on taking any short up here in this like little ding dong range on the weekend. And maybe you take the sweep with these poor highs. Yeah, maybe we'll leave it up here. But I've been looking at the data though, like seeing if there's any kind of like CBD bear div starting to print as we get up here, on top of like lower time frame divs. And it would be like the daily open. We're coming back to the open. And the other thing would be like if for some reason we do start to get increased volatility and we are going to actually do the full day rotation that we talked about yesterday, we open outside of value and you rotate through the zone, it'd be like getting this kind of thing going. I'm pretty suspicious of having enough volatility to get this whole move before the day resets, right? And I don't think this setup is going to be in play by like 7 p.m. And we talked about the liquidity graph down here yesterday. There was like a big glowing node. Let's just go get a screenshot of it. So this big little kahuna that's glowing down here, it's like right here, right? Yeah, just be mindful of that. I guess if you do want to take some kind of low time frame scalp entry, compare retest of the VWAP or this level, you can try it. I wouldn't be too recommending of it. Each to their own. And then other than that, nothing has changed, right? We talked about kind of like sweeping this. We've talked about these higher time frame levels in the Discord and in the previous streams. We'll kind of just leave like that. Not the most exciting juice box today, but I mean that's usually how the weekends go. Has changed from previous juice boxes plus. Can't even type. Damn, that is loud. Yeah. But anyways, we're out here. Gotta go. People are already starting to spam text me. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, right? Whenever futures resume. Or like at the daily candle close / weekly candle close. Until then, right, stay safe. Let's do a quick chat shout out to everybody that was here today. Shout out to TM26, aka Dan. I actually know him in real life. I haven't talked to him in a while though. He left the country. This guy said, "Fuck Canada, I'm out of here." Shout out to ERF. Shout out to Cattle TCG. Our boy playing Call of Duty. Shout out to Dishwasher with some ICT trading strategies. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we get some bit more volatility going when the futures resume. Some juicier trades. Because this short wasn't particularly a big short, right? I wasn't trying to open massive size at an 886 with the poor high right there. So hopefully we got something more juicier going this week. Well, until then, I'm out of here. Later. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend. We'll be back soon.